So, hello and welcome to another edition of the Mind Over Body podcast with myself, Nathan. We got Mark, we got Jim, and yeah, we're back for another week. Mark had got us banned, and yeah, so we're here. We're here to talk about whatever topic you want to. I just want to put it out there before we start this week. If you want to hear anything, if you want to hear us debate absolutely anything at all, put it in the comments below, and we'll put it in and we'll debate your topics in future episodes. But yeah, so like I say, we've got Mark and we've got Jim. This week, I think I started with Jim last week, so we'll start with Mark this week. Mark, how are you doing? What's been going on this week? Your week?
I think you should start with Jim, mate. He's got more of the big news than I have. I've just been training and working. But I'll pass it on to Jim first.
All right, Jim.
He's got the big news.
Well, I thought he just forgot about me because if I remember correctly, he started with his best buddy Mark last week.
Oh, Jim.
Jim, if clear it, you know. Sure, that's what your best mate does as well.
World's smallest violin. Go on, tell us another sob story. Come on. So yeah, what's been going on, Jim? What's been going on? What's the big news?
The week's probably just been busy as every other week during the lockdown. The only difference this time is there's been more of an outcome.
Yeah.
Where on Saturday, myself and Mark drove up to Dundee, picked up, I'll probably say 200, 300 kilogram of thrown weights, which was a canny drive out, considering the year.
I saw it on the story. To be fair, putting the sticker on the.
Yeah, he couldn't reach the short
we tagged the Scottish border with the Wounded Highlanders stickers. We went up and met up with Charlie Murray, the Vice President of the Highland Games Association. Collected £600 in money's worth of thrown kit. Mark was a bit disappointed because he forgot probably an important bit of kit that could have brought us more kit back, but we'll not get into that conversation because...
Badman is your nickname from now on, Badman. If I was told that we were going to get that specific bit of kit, I'd have made sure I had my ratchet straps. Simple. So don't blame that on me. You're the one who's in charge of all the admin, yeah? That you arrange to go and pick it up, you pick the date, you pick the time. Oh, I pick the time because it's the client, but that's beside the point, yeah? You had all the information. You should have said we're picking up the cavers, and I had to took my ratchet straps. You would have looked quite funny though, driving 4 hours with 2 telegraph poles stuck on the roof of the car, but there you go. It's just another trip up there. Badman, get your admin right, and then maybe we'll be able to get all the kit in one trip.
Well, to back myself up there, we didn't get told us were getting cavers.
Whatever. That's what you say.
So yeah, £600 worth in money, probably about close to 300 kilogram in weight.
Yeah.
That was a nice 11-hour round trip. And it's obviously gone into Scotland, and it's ups and downs, should we say? During that, then Sunday was obviously Father's Day, so the missus was at work, so me and the boys just chilled out and had a steak dinner, and then decided to lift some atlas stones in the back garden. What else? Monday, just didn't really do much Monday. I just chilled out. But I needed the off. Phone's ringing too many emails coming through. I need 2 hours to just chill out. Should have done it on Father's Day.
Welcome to my world.
And then, then straight back into it on Tuesday, ordering more kit, taking more deliveries, and planning ahead.
Yeah. Busy week, lad.
Yeah, definitely.
Busy week.
there's some things in there that I could talk about, but I think it would be better off I'll keep it quiet for about a month or two, you know, just until everything's, like they say, the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, you know, all that sort of stuff.
Oh, really? Something coming down the pipeline?
I didn't want to blow the
Come
trumpet.
on, give me a hint. Give me a hint. Give me some sort of hint.
It's going to be epic.
It's going to be...
It's a good job I know, because I've been hounding you.
That's all you get. Put the shovels.
No, I think you should leave that as it is, because obviously if it doesn't happen, we're not disappointing anyone, sort of thing. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
No, I get that. I just don't like being left out of loop, boys. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean?
Part and parcel, aren't they?
Yeah, because you've got a big mouth, can't hold your own water.
I've got a big mouth. Thanks, pal. I'll remember
Still
that.
can't hold your own water though.
No, I'll remember that.
Less you know, less the coppers know.
What are you trying to say?
I'm only messing. I'll tell you in later.
Hey dear. But yeah, so Mark, what's new with you? What's been going on with your week in COVID? What's the week?
Just training, emails,
Morning.
trying to.
Morning.
Right. Do we have to go back onto Saturday, where we can talk about our little journey home, where
you
did nothing but get moaned at for 4.5 hours because you should have been a good little and do what you're told. So I don't moan compared to you. I don't moan compared to you. So my week has been busy. It has been busy. More about trying to reach more people, trying to pretty much show what I do, what me and Jim do, what the team does, what Mob does. We're just trying to get a little bit of, not recognition, but we want to show people what we are made of and what we can do and what we can achieve when we put our heads to it. But hopefully I'm allowed to lift this week. This is my start of my 3rd week without touching a weight, which I'm getting a little bit pent up, a little bit frustrated, and everyone
just a little bit
doing my head in. So
just a touch.
Just a touch. So yeah, apart from that, my week's been sound. I had a good Father's Day with my boys. My little girl Morgan came round. Spoke to my eldest on the phone. She's down in London at the minute. And it was just a chilled out day. Apart from that, all good and hooked.
Steady, that's what we like. Steady away. Well, yes, obviously.
Sorry as well. I just want to mention. Sparta pulled out the bag, got me cup. I know I'm not choosing it, but I have been. Good bit of kit. Ask Jim how good it is. He'll tell you how good it is. Go on, Jim, tell him. On the journey on Saturday, listen to this. This is how good their kit is.
Go on.
Days.
Yeah.
Approximately 1 p.m. on Saturday afternoon, I put a frozen drink in here, and at 9 o'clock Sunday morning, it was still frozen. In my 11-hour round trip to Scotland and back, I had to go without a drink because it was frozen.
So yeah, well done, Spar. That's a good bit of kit, well and truly put to the test. You couldn't have a drink for 12 hours. But no, good, all good.
Oh mate, how did you feel?
Pass.
What's that?
He definitely couldn't hold his water because it was still frozen in his blooming in his cup. But right, so this week we're going to get a little bit deep, a little bit serious. Well, we do anyway, but like we say, we're here to help people. We're here to hopefully give someone a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, so I'll start off. Well, we'll carry on. We'll carry on as we go along, so Jim doesn't start moaning. We'll start with Jim. So Jim, when you feel a little bit down, a little bit low, or when someone feels a little bit down, a little bit low, how would you say they can help themselves in a way? How can they get out and get help? What can they do to not find? I want to say find a coping mechanism, but yeah, we'll go with that. You know what I mean? Find a coping mechanism.
Me personally, I'll start with myself personally. If I'm having a bad day or I'm feeling down, over sort of the 15 year of me sort of living with PTSD, is I have built up, obviously in the early years it wasn't, I was struggling and suffering like a lot of people out there, mental health. I slowly but surely built up a good support system, starting in my own house with my partner, my children.
Yeah.
My partner and children were good for it, and then also after that, obviously, also with me, once I started obviously getting treatment and stuff, I started sort of using my treatment and learn, not just using it to treat myself, but learn from it as well. So I sort of thought to myself, me personally, I'm taking PTSD on full frontal. I'm going to attack it. I'm not going to just let it live with us. If it wants to affect my life, it's going to have a hard job doing it. So I researched it, educated myself on it, learnt what to look for, what not to look for, where to go, who to speak to, how to act, how not to act, what can cause it, what can stop it, that sort of stuff. So for myself, obviously after 15 years of, which has been a long time, you know, I'd say I'd like to say at the minute I've got it down to a T, I'm in a happy place. But for others out there, obviously, especially now with the lockdown, it's a lot harder, where you can't really get face-to-face treatment, appointments, therapies, anything like that, is, again, speak out to anyone close to you. And to be honest, anybody that's willing to listen, speak. Because even if they just listen and they don't know what to say back, when you've got that off your chest, you will start to feel better. Whilst you're talking about it, you might feel crap, you might feel down, you might feel lower than you already did feel. But it's the relief at the end of it that you've actually told someone. You're not holding it in, you're not hiding it, you're not keeping it, you've shared it. Somebody else now knows, so you feel better that you've spoken to someone. But there is still, obviously with the lockdown, there is still stuff out there. There's still, say for the military side, there's still combat stress, there's still help for heroes. There is, on top of them, there's your community nurse, your community reach, there's E&E, there's your GP, there's Mind, there's Samaritans. There's so many out there that you can go to. Put something on Facebook. Simple. Yeah. People nowadays have got 10 times more people on Facebook than they have as in real life friends. If you know what I mean. If you go out your front door, you might have 10 friends. On Facebook, you can guarantee you've got 100.
Yeah.
You put something on there, I'm feeling low, I'm feeling crap, somebody will pick up on it. Somebody will. Once they've picked up on it, they'll probably message you, phone you. Just even if they're asking the comment, straight away you're talking. The biggest thing other than my partner and my kids that saved my life was my tongue. Still to this day, I will say, other than my partner and kids, my tongue saved my life. But it took me a lot of years to realise that and learn to use it the right way.
Yeah.
Where, obviously, it's easier now for me to sit here and advise someone on what to do or suggest for them to do. But there's that, well, saying which is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it. So
Yeah.
you can body the tools, but they've got to be willing to use them tools. And sometimes them tools will make you feel worse to start with.
Feel worse to make yourself feel better.
Exactly. You might be feeling crap for 4, 5, 6 hours that day. You feel even worse for an hour while you're talking about it. But once it sort of clicked in your head that you spoke about it to someone, you just feel better. I cannot explain it. You just automatically feel better.
Like a release.
Yeah. And the more you talk to people, and the more often you speak to someone, and once you've spoken to that said person or that individual about it, they'll keep in contact with you, and every now and then they might ask you how you're feeling and stuff. So it builds up sort of your support system.
Yeah.
So that if you're feeling down, you might not want to speak to that same person, because sometimes you might think you don't want to burden that person, so you'll reach out to someone else. So subconsciously you're building up a support system.
Yeah.
Do you know?
It's coming more and more, though, isn't it? It's coming more. It's a lot more spoke about now.
Yeah. No, totally agree. I don't agree with that. Really? No, people say it hasn't got a stigma. People say that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to talk, but there is still that stigma. There is still that fear. And that's why people don't talk about it. And that's why people like doing the press up challenge, the 25 days. That is to raise awareness that if you need to speak to someone, speak to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. People say it's a lot more present on social media.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say people actually, because it would stop. Suicide would stop.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand that. But what I'm saying is it is a lot more spoke about in open air now.
It is, yeah. But when you're dealing with a dark place, you are so alone. It is hard to open your mouth. Now,
yeah,
I've been that alone and not in that much of a dark place. All you can see is inside your head. So the force of me involving anybody, what goes on in my head, is burdening them. Does that make sense? And that's what people are scared of. They're scared of what's in their head. They're not scared of a man down the street. They're not scared of running into a fight. They're not scared of anything like that. They're scared of what's in their own head.
Yeah.
Now, if it was to the point where everybody would talk about it having a bad day, then suicide would not be happening. Do you know what I mean? People don't kill themselves because they feel like you can't. It's the pain they're in. It's to stop that pain. Now, from my personal experience, it took a bigger pain to stop that pain from happening. And that's where it comes down to when people say, "Oh, I'm all right. I'm here if you want to talk." Are you? Show them. If I have a message from a friend that is not normal conversation, that is tweaked or different or something said completely in the other way around, I will ring that person. I will make sure they're all right. Because I will get it out of them. They haven't got that fear. They're living in their own head. The last thing they want to talk about is coming out. Yeah. That's it. That's the fear of it. So you ringing your best mate when you know he's had a bad day or you know he's in a bad time will drag him out of that. And I had someone do that to me twice. Drag me out. And I didn't go to them. And I didn't ask them for help. Didn't have to. I was getting helped. I was getting dragged out whether I wanted to or not. So when people say that, I turn around to people all the time. You want to talk to me? Talk to me. Send me a message. If someone out of the blue sends me a message, I will ring them because I know they want to tell me something. It happened because when I did the 25-day challenge, someone sent a message that I hadn't spoken to in years. Something went right. I rang him straight away.
Yeah.
We spent an hour on the phone talking. He blamed himself. He blamed this, and he felt this. And guess what? At the end of it, he got it all out. So if you see anyone but that's not acting normal. That's the signs you need to look for. Not normal. If that's not their normal, ring them. And then get it out of them. So when people say to you, oh yeah, you can ring me anytime, they won't. I can tell you that because I never. And I'm only going from what I believe and what I've been through. I didn't never ring anyone. I wouldn't want to burden with what goes on in my head. But I had no choice. I got dragged out. And that's what people need to understand when they turn around and say, instead of saying I need help, that's the hard part. Send someone a message that you were taught to, but they would understand that they know you. They would know there's something wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just a simple, how you doing? Start the conversation. That's all you need to do. Because at the end of the day, if you don't get dragged out, you've got to climb out, and that's 10 times harder. And if you don't climb out, you're staying under. And I know that's pretty blunt, but I'm only going off what I've lived through. Like I said, my pain got stopped by a bigger pain. So I would never go back into... I've been back in a dark place, but I would never even think of all that stuff again because of the pain that I went through. So it is having a support chain, opening, asking friends, speaking to them, just sending someone a message. If I don't think that message is not normal, it's not you, I'll be ringing you. And that's what people need to do. Instead of saying, you can ring me any time of day, because they're scared to. It won't happen. Sometimes it does. And you know what? Massive respect to the people that do that, because that's a hard thing for them to do. Really hard. Unbelievable. So well done if you've ever done that. I weren't that strong. I got dragged out. So when people turn around and say, it's more vocal in the social media. Yes, it is. But why are people still killing themselves? Because people,
like,
haven't sat here done it.
I'm not going to draw about it or anything. It's honest truth, especially with mental health. You've got to be honest from day dot, and you kind of joke with it. The stigma is still alive within mental health.
Yeah.
It is still alive, and it is quite strong. But on the flip side, it is getting spoken about more often. It is getting spoken about in the media, just in the public forums, just in real life. It's slowly, very, very slowly starting to get spoken about a lot more. But what I would also say to anyone at all that has had ill mental health at any point in their life, or they know anyone, or they think they're lucky enough where they've never had it, still go to your local college, ask for any of the e-learning, the online learning courses, which are all free. You can do at home. They send you your books out, like your books and everything. You do it all online. Open University have got free courses and everything, and there is so many courses for mental health first, mental health conditions, mental health, caring for people with mental health, everything. There's so many courses there that you could literally go for weeks and weeks and learning. And that's exactly what I've done. I bought every book on mental health, downloaded every course booklet, spoke to every charity, every organisation, and I took from each different one something that would work for me, and then it built up my own arsenal and my own support network.
Yeah, I understand that. I totally agree. Knowledge is key, okay? But what goes on in your head is the generalizes is the same, okay? You can categorize it as the same, but the situation is different in everyone. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the symptoms are exactly the same, but the cause is different. All right. So
the more you educate yourself on mental health, I get that. Means you educate
keep it
in conditions and stuff that you can recognize it a lot earlier than you would normally would, or somebody else normally would, which means you can stop it earlier so that you don't go to them deep depths of feeling so bad or so poorly or so ill or so withdrawn or so much in a dark place, you catch it early so that you don't suffer because you stop it early. You know, it's like if you've got it, the way I see it is your mental health is a bucket, right?
Yeah.
The ill mental health is dropping in. It's a tap, a running tap. It's dropping in and dropping in. That bucket will fill, and at some point it will overflow, and it'll keep overflowing until that tap's either turned off, which is your treatment over a long period of time, depending on what is your
gym. Every time I walk in the training, I empty that bucket.
Yeah. So
that's the treatment, though.
Either it is the drip and tap. The treatment will stop that drip and tap, but to treat yourself and to understand your conditions, you can attach a tap to the bottom of that bucket. So as they're filling up, because
going
you
straight back out,
tools to help yourself, you can turn that release valve on and empty the bucket yourself.
Yeah.
So it can get to the point where, like, say for instance, for me now, my bucket is constantly getting water through in at the top, but I no longer go for treatment because I can now, let's say, self-help myself. So I know when to hit the release valve, when's the right time or the wrong time, or when it's too late to hit that release valve. If it's too late, I know through my support network of family, friends, associations, charities, that I can then stop that tap for a small period of time until I have fixed myself and fixed my tools to start emptying that bucket myself.
Yeah.
But that also goes on to the next line is, if I'm in such a dark place, I can't help anybody else because I'm absorbing their stuff as well. So if I'm in such a dark place, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't turn around to anyone and say, I'm not going to help you. However, I would steer them to a different channel of help. Whereas if I'm in a dark place, I can't help anyone get out of their dark place. And sometimes that's hard, because if you're throwing yourself out there all the time and you're helping people day in, day out, you absorb that as well. Do you know what I mean? So you've got, for us to help others and for us to help each other, you've got to be in a right to do it.
Yeah.
Because if I'm already in a dark place, the last I want to hear someone else in a dark place, that's going to put me further under, and I'm going to put them further under. So you need that support chain. Like I am very reluctant to talk about what goes on in my head. Very reluctant to anyone. Now, I would rather talk to someone that I know has been in a similar situation than some doctor. Do you know what I mean? So if I can't, I will go to the gym and I will train as hard, aggressively as I can, because I want to leave that knackered. I want to leave that tired. I don't want to carry that anger out. I carried it in. I'm going to leave it there. So if you got help, you need to make sure that you're in the right frame of mind to help someone. You can't just, if you're having a bad day and then you start talking about your bad day, it's the attitude cycle again. It goes all around. Your attitude affects your behaviour. So if it was me and you, my attitude would affect my behaviour. My behaviour would affect your attitude. Your attitude would affect your behaviour. Your behaviour would affect my attitude. And it goes on and on. Now, if I'm in a bad place, it isn't going to change.
You wouldn't fix a broken down car with broken tools.
No. Exactly. It's a vicious cycle. It can get into a vicious cycle. So yeah, you're right. You need to be.
I'm happy to see that for, I would say, the past 2 years, maybe it's a little bit longer, I've been in the happiest place that I've been. And obviously with a support network there, and I'm at a place now where I would literally bore a glass eye to sleep talking about mental health. But that's because
that's not a good. No, but that's just the point. I have recently, last year, long before, I tried destroy my life again, because in my head it was the right thing to do. I didn't want anybody near me, didn't want anybody around me, didn't want to hurt anyone, didn't want to, because it was better off being alone. And that's the pain that dark places put you in. Now I'm fighting to get my life back, and I'm not going to stop. My life has changed because it's my choice to wake up every day, to try and rebuild what I messed up, what I threw away. That's what I'm trying to do now. And if it doesn't work, I can always say I've tried, because that's my choice. Yeah, it does involve other people's choices, but I know I've changed my. Like, I've got a 5-year plan now. 5-year plan. I've got a 5-year plan. I did not care whether I lived or died 2 years ago. So I've never had a plan. Never. I left the army. I joined the army thinking I was going to spend all my life in the army. Okay, got here, didn't care. Didn't care what happened to me. Didn't care one bit. Further down the line, more stuff that happened. More pain. I did not care about me. I cared about everybody else in my close-knit family than anything else. And I did not care whether I lived or died, whether I disappeared. Couldn't care.
Yeah.
Now, I've made the choice to make a 5-year plan. I've got to figure that out, and I want to make sure I get to that target in 5 years. Now, if you'd asked me this 2 years ago, I would have turned around and said, I don't care about plans, don't care. I don't care if I last the next week.
Yeah.
Couldn't plan nothing. And for someone who's been that low down, 6 feet under, that's how low. For them to make a plan for the next 5 years, it is big. And I only did this because I spoke to one of my friends, one of my close brothers who lives in America.
Yeah.
He scared me with his mental health. I was petrified to leave him. And now he's got a 5-year plan. And you know what? If he can have one, my choice to have one. I can make that. You know what I mean? So it is that.
That brings us on to final point, really, of motivation. Like, that's obviously the 5-year plan is what's motivating you and driving you forward. I'm sure there's other bits as well that are motivating you and driving forward. Smaller wins. For me, I call them wins. Every little thing is a win, and another win, and another win, and that's how you get on. That's how I deal with stuff. You know what I mean? Always target, always aim for that little win, and then it all ends up being a big win. But yeah, really quickly, because
you've got to fail to be successful. People need to understand that failure is the foundation of success. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So we are gonna fail at some point, which whether we choose to get back up and then go and carry on and succeed. And that's what I'm saying. Success, the foundation of success is built on is failure. And how you look at failure is completely up to you.
Look at all the successful people in the world. They failed numerous times.
You know what?
Numerous. Well, anyone who's self-made has failed numerous times. But
foundation success.
Yeah. Really quickly, Jim, what motivates you? Obviously, we've touched on it.
What motivates me now is basically proving to my partner and my children that the past 15 years hasn't been a waste of their time. The support that they've put in for me and the backing that they've done for me is now that I'm on my 2 feet moving forward. I'm not going to let them down. I'm going to show them that their hard work and their standing by us and their support actually for a good cause, and it will be repeated.
Spot on.
I like that. That's very humble. I like that. That's humble. I like that.
That's beautiful. That.
Well, so what motivates me?
What motivates you, Mr. Ton? Come
on.
Well, we touched on it really with the 5-year plan.
Yeah, demons motivate me. Me 2 years ago. motivates me because I ain't going back. I ain't going back to ours. I ain't going back to not giving my own self-respect. Not caring if I woke up the next day. Exactly. Stand firm. Strike hard.
Yes, man. Right, I need to stop it there. I do apologise. But thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. We will be back next week with more of a week's chat. But yeah, thanks, Mark. Thanks, Jim. Thank you to you for watching, and we will see you next week. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.